Alex Mason stepped carefully over the jagged rocks of the alien planet, his boots crunching against the reddish soil. The air was thin, crisp, and carried a faint metallic tang. He paused for a moment, letting the low gravity pull him slightly upward with each step. The planet was quiet, almost eerily so, but there was a strange familiarity in the landscape. Something tugged at the edges of his memory, though he could not name it. Years had passed since the war with the Tharkal, the alien species that had first appeared near the outer colonies of human space. He remembered the chaos, the fire, and the fear in the eyes of his friends. He had lost many, but one figure had saved him during the worst of it, Kyra. She had been different from the others, not only in strength but in honor. Alex had never forgotten her. Now, decades later, he found himself drawn to a valley crater that he had only visited once before, during the first skirmishes with the Tharkal. The memory of that day was sharp. The smoke of destroyed ships, the cries of soldiers, the overwhelming alien presence. And through it all, one warrior had stood beside him, her armor gleaming in the light of the dying sun, her eyes steady, unwavering. Alex reached the edge of the valley and paused, scanning the horizon. The rocks were jagged, forming natural barricades, and the crater stretched far below him. There was something different this time. He felt it in his chest, a sense of anticipation and unease, as if the planet itself was aware of his presence. He adjusted his gear, checking the scanners on his wrist. The readings were faint, nothing unusual except for a small energy signature deep within the valley. He frowned. It was too localized to be a ship or settlement, yet it pulsed with a rhythm that was unmistakably intelligent. Alex began his descent, moving carefully down the rocky slopes. He relied on his instincts, honed through years of survival on planets most humans would never dare to visit. Every step he took was deliberate, every movement calculated. He could feel the wind shift, carrying a faint scent that he could not place. It was metallic, earthy, and strangely familiar. As he reached the floor of the crater, the energy signature grew stronger. His pulse quickened. Someone was here, and he felt a spark of recognition, though he did not yet see her. The air shimmered in the low gravity, and he took a cautious step forward. Then through the haze, a figure emerged. Alex froze, his breath catching in his throat. It could not be, and yet there she was. Kyra, her armor was scratched and worn, evidence of countless battles fought, but her posture was the same, upright, commanding, unyielding. Her eyes, sharp and intelligent, met his, and for a moment the years melted away. "I never forgot you," Alex whispered almost to himself. Kyra's lips curved into a faint smile. "Nor I you human," she replied. Her voice was strong, calm, but it carried a warmth that no one had expected from a Tharkal warrior. "I have searched for you across worlds, through systems and years, and finally I have found you." And now here she was, standing in front of him, alive and unchanged in spirit. I thought you were lost," he said finally, his voice thick with emotion. "And yet here I am," Kyra replied. She stepped closer, the ground seeming to vibrate with her presence. "The war did not end for me when it ended for you, Alex. I have carried the mission, the honor, and the promise we shared in that final battle. I could not stop until I found you. A faction of my people, rogue and dangerous, seeks to destroy what we fought to protect, both humans and loyal Tharkal. You are the key to stopping them. Human ingenuity, courage, and will, these are qualities that even my people cannot always match. You have survived where others have fallen. You think too little of yourself, yet that is why you are vital." In wars, in exploration, in survival, humanity had a stubborn streak, the ability to adapt, to endure, to create solutions in moments of crisis. And now that stubbornness was being called upon again. He took a deep breath and nodded. "All right, tell me what I need to know." The energy readings were stronger now, emanating from the ruins of a Tharkal research outpost that had been abandoned decades ago. As they approached, Alex's eyes widened at the sheer scale of the structure, massive towers of metal and alien crystal, broken but still humming with residual energy. "This was once a forward command post," Kyra explained. "It fell to human forces during the war, but some structures remained. My scouts have observed activity here in recent months. The rogue faction uses this as a base, gathering technology and preparing strikes against human colonies." Even now, he could see the faint shimmer of cloaked drones moving in patterns that suggested patrols and surveillance. "They've grown more sophisticated," he muttered, "and dangerous." This was what he had been trained for, what he had survived countless times before. Humans did not give up, even when faced with overwhelming odds, and with Kyra at his side, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. They moved cautiously into the ruins, using the rocks and debris as cover. Kyra led the way, her knowledge of Tharkal tactics evident in every calculated movement. Alex followed, relying on his instincts and experience, ready to adapt to any situation. As they entered the central chamber of the outpost, Alex noticed strange alien symbols etched into the walls, glowing faintly with energy. Kyra knelt to examine them. These markings indicate the presence of a power source, she explained. It is advanced technology capable of interfering with human ships. If they activate it, the colony fleet could be devastated. One misstep, and we could be walking into a death trap. Alex studied the layout, using human logic to anticipate the enemy's movements. Kyra interpreted alien patterns, recognizing weaknesses and strategic points. Their skills complemented each other perfectly, human adaptability meeting alien discipline. Hours passed as they mapped out a plan of action. Every decision mattered, every movement could mean the difference between success and failure. And through it all, Alex felt the bond with Kyra grow stronger. Time and distance had not broken their connection, it had only strengthened it. As the twin suns of the planet began to set, casting long shadows across the valley, Alex and Kyra stood together, overlooking the enemy base. They knew the path ahead would be dangerous. They knew that the rogue faction would not surrender easily. But they also knew that humans survived where others failed. That humanity's courage, intelligence, and determination could tip the scales, even against overwhelming odds. And Alex felt a surge of confidence. With Kyra by his side, they could face whatever the galaxy had in store. The valley fell silent as the last rays of sunlight disappeared behind the horizon. In that quiet, Alex made a silent promise to protect his people, to aid his friend, and to ensure that humanity's light would shine in the darkness, no matter how formidable the threats ahead. He did not know what awaited them beyond the ruins, what challenges the rogue Tharkal faction had prepared. But he knew one thing: he would face them not just as a human, but as a survivor, a thinker, a fighter. And he would do so with Kyra at his side, the alien warrior who had never forgotten him, and whom he had never forgotten. The journey was only beginning, and the stars themselves seemed to watch, waiting for the next move in a game that stretched across decades and light years. Alex inhaled the cold, alien air and stepped forward, ready to confront the past, the present, and the uncertain future. The moment had come. The search had ended, and now humanity would rise once more. Alex and Kyra crouched among the jagged ruins, the faint hum of alien energy filling the air. The twin suns had set, leaving the valley in a mix of darkness and soft luminescence from the alien crystals embedded in the walls. Alex's eyes adjusted quickly, a skill he had honed over years of survival. He studied Kyra's posture, alert, calm, every movement purposeful. He had always admired her precision, her ability to see the battlefield with clarity that he could never match. Kyra, he began quietly, tell me everything. What exactly are we facing, and why now? They have been secretly building forces in the outer systems, and they are preparing to strike. They have acquired technology from old war zones, using remnants from our battles, and combining it with new systems. If they strike now, the colonies could be destroyed before they even have a chance to respond. Your ability to think in ways that no alien would expect. I can fight, I can command, but you adapt. That is why I found you, Alex. You are the key to turning the tide. And if Kyra believed in him, he could not fail. They moved deeper into the ruins, their footsteps careful but swift. Kyra guided him to a chamber that had once served as a command hub for the outpost. Broken consoles and cracked screens littered the room, but energy still flickered from hidden circuits. Kyra crouched by one of the panels, her fingers tracing symbols and controls with precision. This console controls access to the facility's central power, she explained. If we can disable it, we can limit the rogue faction's mobility. It will give the colonies more time to prepare. But maybe, if we reroute the circuits here and here, yes, this could work. We stop them before they can strike. Time had not changed her resolve nor her intensity. She remained focused, unwavering, a warrior shaped by countless battles. And yet beneath that exterior there was a depth of loyalty and honor that humans could understand. They were different species, yet in this moment they were allies united by trust and purpose. Finally, Alex leaned back, wiping sweat from his brow. I think we have it, he said. The power grid is rerouted. We've disabled the external defenses. They won't know we were here until we decide to strike. Tell me what we need to do next. We will need stealth, strategy, and your human creativity to succeed. That is why I sought you out. Humans are capable of actions that even my kind would not anticipate. Together, we can turn the odds in our favor. Every suggestion complemented the other, blending human creativity with alien precision. As the night deepened, a faint vibration shook the ground. Alex and Kyra froze, listening intently. Shadows moved across the ruins. Scouts. The rogue Tharkal had detected their presence. "We've been found," Kyra whispered. "We must move quickly before they call reinforcements." "Lead the way." Small drones hovered silently, scanning for intruders. Kyra crouched beside Alex, pointing to weak points in the patrol pattern. "If we move now," she said, "we can reach their main outpost undetected, but timing is critical. One mistake and the alarm will be raised. It will confuse them long enough for us to move." Taking advantage of the confusion, Alex and Kyra moved swiftly, keeping low and using rocks and debris for cover. As they neared the base, Alex noticed the patrols were heavier than expected. Kyra signaled, and they split into smaller paths, each taking a calculated risk. Alex's route took him along a ridge that overlooked a heavily guarded courtyard. He observed patterns, noting every movement, every gap, every opportunity. Finally, he found it, a narrow passage between two towers, unguarded and lightly shielded, a perfect route for infiltration. He signaled Kyra and they reunited silently, slipping through the opening. Inside, the base was dark and quiet, a stark contrast to the activity outside. They moved carefully, disabling surveillance and avoiding traps. The deeper they went, the more Alex understood the scale of the rogue faction's operations. Supplies, weapon caches, and advanced technology filled the chambers. This was more than a threat. It was an entire operation built on secrecy, power, and ambition. Kyra guided him to the central hub, where control panels displayed systems for communications, weapons, and power distribution. "If we can take control here," she said, "we can cripple their operations and prevent the attack on the colonies. But it will take time and precision." It was stronger now, tempered by years of survival, trust, and shared purpose. Hours passed, and slowly Alex gained control of the systems. He rerouted power, disabled weapons, and created false activity logs. The rogue faction's ability to respond was weakened, their communications disrupted. Kyra's patrol scans confirmed their success. Finally, Alex leaned back, exhausted but triumphant. "We've done it. They won't be able to strike the colonies, at least for now." Humans survived, adapted, and rose against impossible odds. And now he was reminded once again why that was true. With courage, intelligence, and determination, humans could stand against anything the galaxy threw at them. Together, they stepped out into the night, ready to plan the next phase of their mission. The rogue Tharkal had been delayed, but the fight was far from over. And Alex knew, deep in his heart, that humanity would rise again, stronger than before. The stars above the valley twinkled faintly, silent witnesses to the determination of one human and one alien warrior, united in a purpose that transcended species, time, and fear. The asteroid loomed ahead like a jagged crown against the blackness of space. Its surface was rough and cratered, dotted with patches of alien metal that glinted in the faint light of distant stars. Alex Mason floated in the small shuttle, Kyra beside him, her eyes scanning the surface with a sharp intensity. The rogue Tharkal had made this asteroid their stronghold, hidden among debris fields and natural defenses. It was heavily fortified, but they had no choice. The colony fleet could not wait. Alex tightened his grip on the controls, his mind racing. He had been in dangerous situations before, faced enemies who outnumbered him, and survived by thinking faster than they could. But this was different. The stakes were higher, the enemies more cunning. Yet despite the danger, he felt the familiar rush of focus that humans often experienced in crises. Pressure sharpened their senses, and their creativity became unstoppable. Kyra leaned forward, pointing to a narrow canyon winding down the asteroid's side. "We will enter here. The patrol drones avoid this pass, assuming it is unstable. It is narrow, but it gives us cover. From there, we can infiltrate the main gates. Once inside, we must stay hidden, strike only when necessary, and reach their control hub. That is our target." One wrong move could alert the guards, and then it would be a fight on their terms. They exited the shuttle, moving in perfect synchronization. Kyra led, her long strides covering the rocky terrain with ease. Alex followed, careful to step lightly, his senses alert for any sign of movement. The shadows of the canyon provided cover, but every step felt like walking on the edge of a blade. As they approached the first patrol point, Kyra signaled for Alex to stop. She crouched behind a rock, her eyes scanning the patrol drones hovering above. "We must disable them silently," she whispered. "I will distract the nearest drone, you take out the others." They shimmered, flickered, and then drifted harmlessly for a few moments. Kyra leaped from her cover, moving with precise speed to take down the nearest drone. Alex followed, disabling the remaining drones one by one. The path was clear. They continued through the canyon, moving with deliberate stealth. Every now and then, Alex caught glimpses of the asteroid's fortifications, high walls, energy turrets, and guard towers. It was an impressive array designed to deter even the most skilled invaders. But humans had a way of turning defenses into opportunities. "They rely too much on their technology," Alex muttered. "We can use that." "Explain." Sparks flew, and for a moment, the asteroid's surveillance systems faltered. Kyra and Alex moved swiftly, slipping past the main gates and into the heart of the stronghold. Inside, the rogue Tharkal had created a maze of corridors, lined with energy barriers and guarded by automated sentries. Alex felt the familiar tension rising, but he also felt the exhilaration of being alive, of facing a challenge that demanded every skill he possessed. Humans thrived in these moments. Where others saw danger, they saw opportunity. They paused in a narrow hallway, listening to the faint hum of energy fields. Kyra pointed ahead. "The central hub is this way, but there are traps. We must move carefully." As they approached the central hub, they encountered the first real obstacle, a massive energy barrier blocking the entrance. Kyra examined it, her fingers brushing over the alien symbols. "It is a security lock tied to their main power grid. I can bypass it, but it will take time. If we reroute the energy, we can short the barrier and open it temporarily." They slipped inside the hub, finding themselves surrounded by alien technology, consoles, holographic displays, and energy nodes. It was a control center, the heart of the rogue faction's operations. Kyra moved to the main console, her fingers flying over the controls. "We can disable their weapons, scramble their communications, and create false alerts. It will take time, but we can cripple them. We need to speed up. If we reroute some of the power, we can trigger a feedback loop, causing their systems to attack each other." With the systems disrupted, Kyra and Alex moved to the central control console. They accessed the rogue faction's communications, sending false orders and redirecting patrols. The enemy was disoriented, unable to coordinate, and their attack plans were thrown into chaos. Alex leaned back, catching his breath. "That should slow them down. The colonies have time now." "Good work, Alex, but we are not finished. We need to ensure that their leaders cannot regroup. We must confront them directly." Guards appeared, but Alex and Kyra were ready. Using a combination of human ingenuity and alien combat skills, they disabled each threat swiftly, without unnecessary risk. Every movement, every decision, demonstrated the unique strength of humans when combined with strategy and courage. Finally, they reached a heavily guarded chamber. Kyra paused, her hand on the door. "This is it. Their leader is inside. We must be careful. One mistake and all could be lost. You will not leave this place alive." The battle was intense, but every move showcased human ingenuity. Alex anticipated the enemy's patterns, using strategy and quick thinking to turn the tide. The rogue leader faltered, caught off guard by Alex's unexpected maneuvers. Kyra struck decisively, and together they subdued him, ensuring he could no longer threaten the colonies. Breathing heavily, Alex looked around at the ruined control hub. They had succeeded. The rogue faction's plans were in disarray, their power crippled, and the colonies safe for now. Kyra placed a hand on his shoulder. "You were magnificent, Alex. Humans are truly remarkable. Your creativity, courage, and determination saved lives tonight. We did it together. Humanity is strong, but we are stronger when we trust and fight alongside allies like you." The rogue faction was defeated, but Alex knew this was just one battle in a much larger war. Yet he felt no fear, only the resolve that humans always carried, the will to survive, to adapt, and to rise no matter the odds. The stars stretched endlessly above them, silent witnesses to human courage and ingenuity. And Alex Mason, alongside Kyra, knew that humanity's light would shine even in the darkest corners of the galaxy. The human colony fleet floated like a string of silver pearls in the vast blackness of space. Ships of every size, from small scout vessels to massive transport carriers, gleamed under the light of distant stars. Alex Mason stood on the bridge of one of the fleet's command ships, his hands gripping the railing, eyes fixed on the holographic displays. Alerts flashed across the panels, sensor readings, energy signatures, and unidentified ships approaching rapidly. Kyra stood beside him, her armor gleaming under the soft light of the bridge. She had joined the fleet after their success on the asteroid stronghold, her loyalty unwavering. "They are moving faster than I anticipated," she said, her voice calm but tense. "The rogue faction has gathered reinforcements. If we do not act quickly, they will strike the fleet directly." It was a test of skill, creativity, and courage. "Then we strike first," he said firmly. "We have the element of surprise. We can disrupt them before they reach the fleet." Prepare for a coordinated strike, with Kyra leading the assault teams. He noted their patterns, the way they moved in formation, and their likely points of weakness. "Humans are unpredictable," Kyra said softly, almost to herself. "That is why I chose to fight with you." Small drones detached from the human command ship, moving in patterns designed to mimic attacks from multiple directions. The rogue Tharkal responded, diverting their fire and braking formation. Kyra led a strike team of loyal Tharkal warriors aboard smaller human ships. They moved swiftly, cutting through enemy patrols and disabling weapons platforms with precision. Alex monitored their progress, adjusting tactics as the battle unfolded. The human advantage was not raw strength, but strategy, creativity, and timing. One of the rogue ships detected their maneuver and fired a volley of energy blasts. Alex reacted immediately, guiding the fleet through a narrow canyon of asteroids. The blast struck rocks, shattering them into shards that ricocheted unpredictably, disrupting the enemy formation. Humans had learned to turn even the environment to their advantage. Kyra's team engaged in boarding actions, using energy grapples to swing from ship to ship. She moved with lethal grace, striking at critical systems and leaving the enemy scrambling to respond. Alex marveled at her skill, but his mind was already calculating the next step. "We need to focus on their command ship," Alex said. "If we take it out, the rest will lose coordination." Smaller human ships moved in synchronized patterns, drawing fire and confusing the enemy sensors. Larger vessels unleashed volleys of energy beams at weak points Alex had identified. Each strike was precise, exploiting the vulnerabilities of the rogue fleet. Kyra and her team approached the command ship, weaving through enemy fire. Using grappling cables and careful timing, they boarded the vessel, disabling shields and neutralizing security teams. Alex watched the live feeds from their suits, impressed by their coordination. Humans had taught him to adapt, and he was applying that lesson now, directing the battle with intelligence and foresight. Inside the command ship, Kyra confronted the rogue commander who had survived the asteroid battle. He sneered, his eyes filled with hatred. "You are persistent, human," he hissed, "and you, warrior, are foolish to stand with them. That is your path, and it ends here." She moved swiftly, avoiding the hazards and striking with precision. The rogue commander tried to counterattack, but Kyra anticipated his moves. With a combination of agility and strategy, she disabled his weapons and forced him into a corner. Alex directed a drone to cut the final power line to the command ship, creating a temporary blackout that allowed Kyra to subdue him completely. Outside, the rogue fleet faltered. Without their command ship, their formations collapsed. Alex saw an opportunity. "Now," he shouted, "converge on the remaining ships, focus fire on weak points, use every advantage we have." Energy beams tore through enemy hulls, boarding teams neutralized critical systems, and drones disrupted sensors. The rogue fleet, despite their numbers and technology, could not withstand the combined creativity and courage of humans and loyal Tharkal. Alex felt a surge of pride. Humanity was not just surviving, they were leading. They adapted, they improvised, and they turned disadvantage into advantage. Every tactic, every calculated risk demonstrated the resilience that had allowed humans to thrive in the galaxy. Kyra secured the rogue commander, ensuring he could not escape. She returned to Alex's side as the last of the enemy ships either surrendered or retreated. The human fleet had prevailed. The colonies were safe, at least for now. Alex exhaled, feeling the tension drain from his body. "It's over," he said quietly. Kyra shook her head. "For now, there will always be threats, but tonight humanity proved its strength. You proved your strength, Alex." The crew moved efficiently, tending to repairs, assisting the wounded, and restoring order. Humans had survived the chaos, and they had turned the tide through courage, intelligence, and teamwork. He turned to Kyra. "We couldn't have done it without you." Humans have a quality my people often underestimate: the will to act, the ability to see possibilities where others see none. That is why you prevailed. But he also knew that this victory was part of a larger story, one in which humans would continue to rise, adapt, and lead. The fleet moved in formation, ready to return to the colonies and ensure their safety. Alex and Kyra remained on the bridge, overseeing operations, planning next steps, and ensuring that the rogue faction could not regroup. The galaxy was vast, full of danger, but humans had proven that they were a force to be reckoned with. In the quiet moments, Alex reflected on the journey that had brought him here: the battles, the losses, the years of waiting, and finally the reunion with Kyra. Time had not diminished their bond, it had strengthened it. Together they had faced danger, overcome obstacles, and demonstrated the power of unity between species. Kyra placed a hand on Alex's shoulder. "You are remarkable, human. Never forget that." They had the ability to rise against any challenge, no matter how formidable, and together with allies like Kyra they could shape the future of the galaxy. As the fleet moved toward the colonies, Alex looked out into the stars. The darkness of space stretched endlessly, but within it, humanity's light shone brightly. They had faced overwhelming odds and prevailed. They had fought with courage, creativity, and determination, and they would continue to rise stronger than ever, no matter what threats lay ahead. The battle was won, but the journey was far from over. Humanity had proven its strength, its ingenuity, and its courage. And Alex Mason, alongside Kyra, knew that no matter what challenges the galaxy presented, humans would endure, adapt, and triumph. The stars sparkled in silent witness to their victory. The colonies were safe, the rogue faction defeated, and the bond between human and alien warrior stronger than ever. Together they would face the future, ready to confront whatever dangers awaited, and prove once again that humanity's spirit could not be broken. Alex felt a deep sense of hope. The galaxy was vast, full of challenges and opportunities. But humans had survived worse, and they had the courage, ingenuity, and determination to face anything. With allies like Kyra, he knew that humanity's light would continue to shine, even in the darkest corners of space. The fleet moved steadily toward the colonies, a testament to human resilience and bravery. And in that moment, Alex Mason understood something profoundly simple. Humans were not just survivors. They were leaders, innovators, and warriors. And the galaxy would remember them. The rogue Tharkal commander had been captured, but Alex Mason knew the fight was not yet over. His instincts told him that remnants of the faction were still at large, lurking in shadows, plotting revenge. The colonies were safe for now, but safety was temporary in the galaxy. Humans had learned that every victory demanded vigilance, creativity, and courage. Alex stood on the deck of the human command ship, Kyra beside him, her eyes fixed on the stars beyond the viewports. "We've delayed them," Alex said quietly, "but I can feel it. They won't give up, not easily. That is why I fought to find you." Commanders from various colonies gathered in the strategy room, relying on Alex's experience and judgment to plan the final strike against the remaining rogue forces. Alex reviewed reports and sensor data, noting the locations of hidden ships, supply depots, and fortified positions. The rogue Tharkal had underestimated humanity's ingenuity and resolve. That miscalculation would be their downfall. Kyra joined him at the console, her fingers tracing patterns on the holographic map. "Their stronghold is hidden in the asteroid belt near Orion's edge. Heavily fortified, yes, but it cannot withstand a coordinated strike by humans and loyal Tharkal. A small team, including us, will infiltrate the stronghold directly. The rest of the fleet will create diversions and engage their ships. We hit them from every angle simultaneously. They won't know what hit them. Lead them well, and we will succeed." It was in these moments of pressure that their creativity, resilience, and courage shone brightest. As they approached the asteroid belt, Alex directed the fleet into a formation that would maximize cover and minimize exposure to enemy fire. The rogue faction had fortified the region, but they had not anticipated the adaptability of humans. Alex deployed drones to scout ahead, observing patrol routes, energy shields, and weapon placements. Every detail counted. Kyra led the infiltration team in a small shuttle, slipping through asteroid shadows toward the hidden stronghold. Alex monitored their progress, providing guidance and adjusting plans in real time. Even from the command deck, he could feel the intensity of the mission. Every moment was critical, every decision could mean success or failure. Inside the stronghold, Kyra and Alex moved with precision. Guards patrolled in predictable patterns, relying on technology rather than intuition. Humans, however, saw opportunities where others saw obstacles. Alex used the shadows, timing their movements with the hum of machinery. Kyra disabled traps and neutralized security measures with ease. Together, they advanced toward the central chamber where the rogue faction's leaders were gathered. Outside, the fleet engaged the enemy. Energy beams streaked through space, ships maneuvered with agility, and human ingenuity turned the asteroid belt into a defensive maze. Rocks, debris, and clever strategies created confusion among the rogue ships, disrupting their formations and giving the humans a significant advantage. Inside the stronghold, Alex and Kyra reached the central chamber. The rogue leaders had anticipated a straightforward assault, but humans were never straightforward. Alex quickly assessed the room, noting energy conduits, shield generators, and tactical weak points. Kyra readied her weapons, her stance a perfect balance of offense and defense. The rogue leaders turned, their eyes narrowing at the sight of Alex and Kyra. "You again, human," one hissed. "And your alien friend. You will not leave this place alive." Alex used his surroundings, triggering energy conduits to create diversions and block enemy paths. Every move demonstrated human ingenuity, creativity, and resilience. One leader tried to flee, but Alex anticipated the escape route. Using a combination of drones and tactical planning, he cut off the path, forcing the rogue leader into a corner. Kyra struck with a swift, precise blow, ensuring the leader could no longer pose a threat. Outside, the fleet had gained the upper hand. Rogue ships were either destroyed or retreating. Humans had used strategy, coordination, and quick thinking to turn a dangerous battle into a decisive victory. Every crew member, every ship had played a role, demonstrating the power of unity and intelligence. Alex looked around the central chamber, taking stock of the situation. The rogue faction was defeated. Their plans to attack the colonies were thwarted, and humanity had once again proven its strength, not just through brute force, but through ingenuity, courage, and determination. Kyra approached him, her expression one of respect and admiration. "You were extraordinary, Alex. Humans are remarkable. Your people adapt, endure, and overcome challenges that would break others. You have saved countless lives today. Humanity's spirit is unyielding, and your courage has inspired me as much as I hope we have inspired you." The galaxy was full of challenges, but as long as humans maintained their courage, intelligence, and determination, they would endure. As the fleet prepared to return to the colonies, Kyra placed a hand on Alex's shoulder. "Our paths will diverge soon," she said softly. "I must return to my people, ensure they remain loyal and united. But I promise we will meet again." Together they had faced impossible odds, overcome them, and ensured the safety of countless lives. Alex reflected on the journey, the reunion, the battles, the risks, and the triumphs. He realized that humanity's strength was not just in physical power or technology, but in the ability to adapt, think creatively, and act with courage in the face of danger. It was a lesson he would carry for the rest of his life. Kyra activated her shuttle, preparing to depart. "Farewell, Alex Mason. Remember, humans are capable of greatness. Do not underestimate your own potential." They had survived against overwhelming odds and emerged victorious, and the galaxy would remember them. The human colonies thrived in the aftermath, rebuilding, strengthening defenses, and preparing for future challenges. Stories of Alex Mason and Kyra spread across systems, tales of bravery, ingenuity, and the unbreakable human spirit. Children learned of the courage it took to stand against impossible odds, and adults remembered the lessons of unity and intelligence. Alex walked through the command ship, observing the crews working with determination and focus. Humans had always faced adversity, but their resilience had always carried them forward. He smiled, knowing that this victory was part of a much larger story, a story of survival, courage, and the endless potential of humanity. As he stepped onto the observation deck, gazing at the distant stars, Alex felt a sense of hope and purpose. The galaxy was vast and full of unknown dangers, but humanity was ready. They had the courage to face challenges, the creativity to find solutions, and the determination to endure. In that moment, Alex Mason understood the true meaning of humanity's strength. It was not the victories alone, but the spirit that refused to give up, the ability to think, adapt, and rise in the face of adversity. And with allies like Kyra, he knew that no challenge was insurmountable. The stars shone brightly, a reminder of the endless possibilities that awaited. Alex Mason, human, survivor, and strategist, stood ready to meet whatever the galaxy had in store. Humanity had proven its resilience and ingenuity, and its light would continue to shine, no matter the darkness ahead. The rogue Tharkal faction had been defeated, the colonies were safe, and the bond between human and alien warrior had been strengthened through trials and triumphs. Alex knew that humanity's journey among the stars was just beginning, and he was proud to be part of it. The galaxy was vast, full of challenges and opportunities, but humanity had survived, endured, and prevailed. Their courage, intelligence, and determination ensured that they were not just survivors, but leaders, innovators, and guardians of their future. And as Alex looked out into the endless expanse of space, he knew that the story of humanity was far from over. He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility but also the pride of accomplishment. Humans would continue to rise, adapt, and shine, and the stars themselves seemed to witness their triumph, a silent acknowledgement of the courage, ingenuity, and unbreakable spirit that defined humanity. Alex Mason turned away from the viewport, ready to face the next chapter, confident that humanity's light would continue to guide the galaxy, no matter what lay ahead.